Hello and welcome, everyone. Welcome to the 443rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on July 28th, 2022. This is also the Energy Blueprint Day, Part 3, and we're calling it A Revolution in Energy Supply. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the public teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond. I'll be host today. And of course, we are hosting Mr. Mehran Keshe of the Keshe Foundation. And let me just zero in on him for you here. I think we have it there. Hello, Mr. Keshe. We've got your image now and are ready to go.
Good morning, good day to you. As usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute around the world, and in how we openly share knowledge and show the development of it. That you don't need to wait for patterns to be created and things to be hidden. The way the Keshe Foundation as a Spaceship Institute works is we're preparing the whole mankind. It's for you and to gather the knowledge to become the passenger of the universe, as was in the intro. The choice is yours. Now we understand the process of the travel. If you travel with the dimension of the energy, what we call inner sanction of the man, the soul of the man, you go through a system that you don't need food, you don't need energies, you don't need light or heat. The soul of the man maintains its existence through the work of the universe. We don't see a blanket on the sun to keep it warm, and we don't see a cooling system on it to keep it cool on the other side. It generates heat, it maintains a constant heat, and we don't see anybody serving food to the sun or the earth. So if we travel with the soul of the man, with the dimensional energy of the man, that now we understand more of, we use different systems. If we travel and live in a dimension of physicality of the man, we need to meet the demands of the man in that dimension. He needs food, he needs energy, he needs light, he needs all sorts of things, medication and medicine, and all sorts of mental and psychological pressures. Today's teaching is more or less, at the beginning, some good news about the first way, how the process of the space technology is developing, as you know, and we are carrying out. And then we go to what we call the energy unit. In the dimension of the energy of the man, what you call the soul, the energy which we hold within, and we see the interaction of the physicality of the man, energy side, some people call it the aura of the man, how we can extend the soul of the man to cover the physicality, and how we can control it. Then you learn and you control it. We had interesting cases, as you know. We've been test flying flight simulation in the past weeks. And yesterday was a huge step for this process. On Tuesday, we introduced more or less 2 working units for the flight system, which has been developed and changed in the past few weeks, to be ready for transmutation of the man. When you travel, you carry the physicality of the man. You have to go to the airport, you have to get in the car, you have to get a rocket to get in, to go from A to B, to carry the mass, the weight. When you transmute, which means you put the body of the man instead of putting it in a car, instead of putting it in a plane, you extend the physicality to be where it is, but you extend the energy, the soul of the man, to cover the physicality. Now the physicality, as those of you who've been in it, they call it you're in a balloon. In a balloon where you are embedded, you see the physicality, but now you are in an envelope. Going to the airport to take your physicality costs everything else you've done for years, and we know the method. To go with the transmutation means we use energy of this envelope. As I've said many times before, doesn't matter what we put in the envelope. Cash, check, letters, love letters, hate letters, does not matter. When this envelope is posted to get to its destination, then it can be anything in it. When you make a telephone call, it doesn't matter if it's the noise of the water, if it's your voice, the laughing of your child, or crashing of a glass on the floor. The package carries that noise from A to B, and the person on the other side listens to it. And only he listens because you dialed the right number. You connected magnetically what you call telephone line or satellite line, which is a weak away from magnetic field, to destination point of who it is. It could be one day in North Europe, next day in Asia, the day after in Africa. We connect to it because we dial it, we know where it is, the satellites find it. In the world of creation, there is no satellite, but there's a connection of all the magnetic field of the universe together. If you dial the right number, if you connect to the right person, you can do that, which means you can connect to. This is what you do when you're asleep. The magnetic field pressure of the blood of the man lowers, and then this allows the soul of the man, which is encaged inside, to be free. And it goes to where he wants to. Dreams about the mom, dreams about the dad, dreams about what is concerns of the physicality during the day, or what is to come, because it's structured as part of the whole movement of the field. In the present time, we cannot dictate that tonight I go to sleep, or now I dream of the man, of mother or father who died years ago, and they'll be present in front of me, because this is unknown to us. But we do it in the dream. We accepted that we dreamt. Now we know there is the work of the soul, how the dream is created by reduction in the fields of the blood flow, like a tokamak. The plasma inside is released, so expands and emits mum. In the new space technology, that's what we do. In the new systems as you've been, we allow to reduce the fields of the blood and give that freedom. We take the energy magnetic field of the blood into our system. So now the soul expands, does the whole thing. Most of you been in the system, they call it, you feel you're in the envelope, you're in the field. And we did this for past 4 or 5 weeks. Many of you have been here, over 100 people, and they've gone through the system to see the expansion. And it was contained into what we call Keshe Foundation, the Spaceship Simulation Center. We said we're going to go on a mobile system, which means we bring people from around the world back to Linz or where they want to go, or we can control or connect to them that they can travel without being here. Yesterday, we announced it weeks ago that it'll be done in October, November, we'll be ready. But our system, developed in past 2 years, has advanced so much that in that process, in developing the new systems, we had an opportunity yesterday with the teaching of the Recon Wednesday morning, his workshop. I happened to be there, and I thought the system is free because a team of 5 changed the time to another week. So we had 5 places vacant, nobody turning up. They did in the last minute. So what we did, I said to the people who are with Rick in his teaching, in his workshop, that I would like to test something and see, maybe now we can see how fast we can develop the mobile system and test it. So with some 10, 15 people present with Rick, I asked them if they want to join a test, just off the cuff, just in one position. And we asked who's got a headphone, who hasn't got a headphone, who can listen to the, what we call the transmutation on a computer or whatever. And we did the first test with mass numbers, with more than 1 or 2 people. The results were in line, but not amazing, but confirmed the correctness. go back to the teaching of the Rick's workshop and listen to it. We asked first for people, we leave them for 10, 15 minutes. We connected our system from here to the communication line, which is the telephone lines connected to Rick, the structure through Zoom operation. Then after 10 or 15 minutes, as we do here, it's like you go in this 10 or 15 minutes, you wait, it's not just waiting. We send energies, we send packages of plasmas of information, which your soul recognizes down the line. So we allow the blood structure to what they call not to interfere with work of the soul, with work of the energy inside the body. And in that process, we allow it to expand. And this was done in the first 10 or 15 minutes. They're all waiting for. They thought what they're waiting for. It's like you go to the airport, as I said many times, you wait, you arrived half an hour early, you wait till they announce which platform, where you have to go to catch your flight. And then I entered and I explained to them, now you can go to, you don't fly with the plasma technology. You go to, because it's instantaneous. Flying means getting on it to move the physicality. And explain to them, you can go to your mom, to dad, grandpa, anywhere you like to go. It's your freedom. Go to the moon, go to wherever. And we allowed this to take place. And after about 10 or 15 minutes, when we allowed them to do, I went in and we asked questions to see if transmutation to mobile phone is possibility. And the result was immediate. A number of people who wanted to speak, who went through the process, explain what happened to them. Go to the BRICS workshop and listen to it. And this brought forward the position of transmutation of the man through new technology. So we foresee in a much, much closer time that we could test for the first transmutation mobile system by you as knowledge seekers. Please sign in, register, and join. We want to mass travel people around the world, first through the soul, then through the soul to manifest the physicality. You got to remember in the yesterday's teaching of Rick, there were people from all corners of this planet. They were not all in one room like the flight system. There were people in Canada. There were people in South America, I think. There were people in Europe. There were people from Asia. And so we managed to reach all the souls simultaneously. We didn't ask them to all go together anywhere. That's in the next stages. But it was for them to test. So we are ready to go through the transmutation. And it's a beautiful feeling when what you set up, what you developed, the Keshe Foundation team have managed to achieve what man could not think is possible. We had people who went to see the mother, or they went to see the father, or people who went to the moon, and they described some of it. I had to leave halfway, and I don't know who else came in, but they explained. But what it comes to is Keshe Foundation is a space technology. As I said in the intro, we give you, if you want to travel in the dimension of the soul, transmutation, the system is getting ready to go. If you want to go and live in the dimension of the man, which most of you are involved on a daily basis, is where do I get my food? Where do I get my energy? Where do I get my all other things to be able to maintain the physical life? We gave you the good news about transmutation. Now we call this the Energy Day, because what you see today is very important, especially for North European countries. Germany, Austria, France, Italy, Denmark, Norway is a gas exporter, and other European nations, which rely on a gas for daily life from Russia, between 40 to 60%, some nations 15, 20%. And we heard that the Russian government yesterday stepped down another pipeline to Germany. So we are running into crisis. This morning we hear the inflation in the United States runs at 9%. Inflation in Europe is getting to double digits because of the shortage of gases and other things which depends to Belarus and Russia, fertilizers, all kind of food to North Africa and Central West Asia from Ukraine. We're here to show two things, revolution and evolution energy. Today, Russia, gas pipes, turbulizers, gases as a liquid into Western Europe through pipelines set and paid for by both countries and different countries to have a guaranteed pipeline energy. And now is in danger. And this winter, using the national reserves of all the nations of the gases, by March next year, there'll be crisis. But so they are cutting by 10, 15% to be lower consumptions. The school will close earlier. The lights on the streets will go down much sooner than later at night. And all sorts of cuts we see. And we bring it to a lot more inflation, everything. And gas fuel prices goes up and the rest. Last week on Monday, we showed you gas, how to make hydrogen from Tehran laboratories and factory. Last Monday in Tehran, we showed an alternative plasma system you can put in your house and use 20%, maybe 30% of the energy from the government, and the system provides the balance of it. That's the system on its own. It's not a power generator. And last Thursday, in the second blueprint day, we showed you a generator. And a lot of people got confused with this generator. That what is this? Why is it so big? And if I bought the plasma enhancement unit, what is this one? Plasma enhancement unit is when you still rely on a government for supply, but you reduce your bill. Generator, it means generating power, and you can use it in conjunction with the enhancement unit, or you buy it, you have an independent house, and you put it in, and you don't need any connection. This power generator caused a lot of problem for people last week. And the reason for it was that the light goes on and off and everything else. The light and the fridge going on and off is, in fact, to do with the matter state today current problem. As long as you see this blue light on, you have a guarantee of supply without. So what you see as a light coming, a system going, we had to put it because otherwise you said, oh, they've got a battery in there and it supplies and that's it. The switch going on and off, the lights going on and off, it shows that the system here uses energy. When it gets to the point of not having the energy transferred on the what we call the inverter, it switches off for a few seconds, the plasma charges off the battery, and then it goes back again. As a generator, you don't have this problem. It's a continuous. This is shown to show the change in technology. When you buy a generator now for 2 kilowatts, you have to buy diesel for it. You have to buy fuel for it. You might have to buy wood for it to burn it, to boil the water, or bring the what we call diesel generator to rotate magnetic field to produce it. You buy a generator today, I bought many of them years ago for our businesses around the world. They usually are about half the size of a 20-foot container. And you get there, you still have to buy fuel for it. If you don't put a diesel in a generator, your hotel business is kaput. Doesn't work. You have no electricity. The beauty with this system is you never need to do anything with it. Plug and play for life, unless something internally goes somewhere with it, which is replaceable. This is a solid state generator. It means once you have it, you're supplied for life. You don't have to worry if the Russians cut the oil, if the Russians cut the gas, if something happens in the Middle East, oil prices goes up, you have to pay more for the fuel, as many of you do. You buy diesel in the summer, which is cheaper, that you don't have to pay for the fuel in the winter, 10 cents, 20 cents more. With this is what you see, what you get for life. 2 years guarantee internationally, 10 years, should nothing go wrong with it unless critically something breaks down. So you don't need to feed it. You don't need to do anything with it. The size of it you see is not the size of the system we get. This has been built to demonstrate the what we call the functionality of the plasma. This is done to show you that we see the system is working, energy is consumed, and when it's too much consumed, system takes a few seconds to charge up, and then it goes. So the generators you will get, most probably half size of this fridge, and is a practical way to do it. And we try to help people to buy different stages of generator, 0.3, 1 kilowatt, 2 kilowatt. And we found that a lot of people complain in the past few days that they are confused. So we decided we do one system only for public, which is a 2 kilowatt and a 10 kilowatt. 10 kilowatt is for industrial use. A 2 kilowatt unit is put up as a generator, and we try to start the production as fast as we can. But we said January of 2023, but we go into production as fast as we can to do it. Now we decide to do it different way. We didn't develop this technology for you as a generator. We did this not to have this, because we don't need this other power. We need this plasma power, what you see as a blue line, for the running of the space simulation system. This is what they are built for. But as we produce energy, we said, okay, you can have it as well. So in fact, you look at these lights in a matter state in your home. We look at this light that the plasma power generation is going on in our, what we call, space flights. You're physically involved in that side. To you, it was important, the light comes and goes off. To us, this is important. As long as this light stays on, you have power supplied. Even you suddenly surge the power over 2 kilowatt, for a few seconds, you cut off, and then it comes back on again to supply you. The difference between the knowledge of the man of the past is this white bulb and white light gives you confidence. And to the science of today, we look for this dimension of interaction of the plasma. So you get from now on a 2 kilowatt generator is put in. We go into mass production very soon, and very small units, maybe this size. So I create this confusion with a lot of you. If you connect this system with your plasma enhancement unit, which is up for sale for past few weeks, you can increase the power consumption to maybe 4 kilowatts, 6 kilowatts. You can extend it. And then you have to realize most of the time you don't use that amount of energy. Most of them households use about half a kilowatt during the day, peak hours, cooking time, at night television, you go to around about 2 or 3 kilowatts. So you buy a generator independently in a village to light up a few things, and maybe have another dimension to use, and you add the enhancement generator plug and play to increase the power. It means you put 2 kilowatt, but you can use actually 8 kilowatt instead of spreading to more numbers. And this is what it is. These generators will not come in this size. There's a lot of things in the background here. It's a prototype showing. You will end up with a system like this. More or less, the size gets prototyped and you see it. For you to see that does not matter what I do, the blue plug, the blue light, plasma energy, which is needed for you, is needed. Don't forget, once you start understanding the work of the plasma flight system, plasma enhancement units, you'll find out the use of these lights become obsolete. The use of heating become obsolete. The way you use plasma gases in two different materials on the wall of the house and now bring it to about 22 degrees balance, this system, used the way we add to it, will do it for you. You don't need to heat with this. With this new plasma technology, with the additions you can put around the house, the whole house will be warm as you need it. And this is the beauty of it. That's why we don't think you need more than 2 kilowatts if you want to live a human life. But as long as this is on, now you're used to central heating, underfloor heating. Now you have plasma heating. You heat, you release energies which are absorbed by the inner body of the man and keeps it at the temperature which you're happy with. The way when we called yesterday and people were happy, some to go to New York and some go to see the grandpa who died years ago and the others. Somebody likes a heat with a body of, let's say, room temperature of 25, he feels that 25. If somebody likes to be in the Bahamas at 32 degrees during the winter, you feel that way. The science has changed. The knowledge has changed. Now you are happy with this, I give you this, no problem. This is light. I can plug it anytime. It still does the same for you. It beeps a little bit, charges it back. You're happy as human usage. But this beeping is nothing to do with the structure. This is for you to show the system is working. The fridge runs, the light is on, there's not enough energy. At the moment the plasma is charging the battery, give it a few seconds, battery is charged by the plasma system in the background, and voila, your physical need is done. The fridge comes back. But in the generator you don't have this. It's a continuous flow. It's a continuous energy. This is here as a demonstration for you to see the production of energy. So the plasma generators are there as put on, and it makes you independent of everything. Because later on, when we add the food system, the environmental system, the what we call the warmth and heating system, then you don't need any of these. You're used to, as I said, the latest thing is underfloor heating. Now we heat the body of you the way you like. The husband and wife sitting on the same sofa, somebody is too hot at 23 degrees. The other one likes to feel to be in Bahamas, feeling 37 degrees. He feel that. Change of knowledge, change of technology, as we could not, if you remember in early late 90s, when the first mobile phone came, it was a suitcase and a hand phone we used to carry, and it was very posh to have this. Everybody was shaking, oh, I'm very good, I'm advanced with technology, with a suitcase in my hand and a phone. Even they were not talking to anybody, it was so to, I can do it. And now it's fashionable with the little microphones, little handheld phones. This is that what it is. The evolution of technology, this is that suitcase with the hand phone. In a few years' time, this will be packaged that will create food, energy, and everything else. This is the beginning of revolution in the science of man and the technology it brings. So we understand fully that this is a demonstration unit, the functional plasma 2 kilowatt. It'll be a small package, and you want it to be this beeping. This beeping is for you because, you know, critics of the Keshe Foundation, oh, he's got a battery in there and he's charging. Anybody can put a box in there and light up. Now you see it. We know what we have, and knowledge seekers, you've seen what it can do. Now, we come in the evolution of the science the way we never knew before. As we talked about the Russians, as we talked about the gas, all of you are very happy. You're used to. Most of you who don't live in the central line gas pipes, you're used to this. Yep. This is your gas cylinder. The gas in there, most probably liquefied in Siberia or somewhere else, or in Qatar, or in the gas mines of Iran, comes in huge super tankers of gas with if you see them on the oceans, it's like big balloons next to each other, comes to your country, they plug it in, fill it up, you buy it, you take it home, you cook with it, you burn with it. Some of you become a bit modern because the price of fuel on a gas is cheaper than a diesel and petrol. You convert one of these tanks and put it in the back of your car, and you've become hybrid gas petroleum. The new version is hybrid electric petroleum. So you carry huge amount of liquid gas here in this container. And when it finishes, you have a switch in the car. You go to the what we call petroleum, and you burn the fuel, or you switch into electric. Now electric motor runs, or at home, sorry darling, gas ran out, no food tonight. You forgot to buy gas, now we have nothing to eat. You forgot about the gas, there is no heating tonight in the bedroom in the winter. This is man to today's knowledge and technology. And this is what the Russians are playing the roulette game with the Europeans. This is what now Middle East nations with the gas are playing with everything else. We showed the hydrogen production through what we call the Iran presentation. Rick, would you like to show us when the Iranians showed us the production of hydrogen in Tehran last week, if you have it available, that we all remind ourselves. In this process, we showed in a simple way, we can produce huge amount of hydrogen. But hydrogen is a different material. Your houses are not used to it. Industry uses it for something else. This is the beautiful lab in Tehran on the flag of the Iranian nation and the Keshe Foundation. We showed this was the power supply. But how we can use the plasma technology, and we extend the time by 3-4 times. We have a video of the burning of the gas, which was produced in Tehran. If you can show us that one that we see for the first time, we showed how we can produce gas at will at any point. Do you have that video?
I can.
Yeah, it's shared. If you can take the other screen.
Okay, just a minute here.
Klaus is playing it in the background for you. If you can replay it on the main screen,
Yeah.
please.
Okay, just
This we showed, you have to expand it. You have to expand your screen.
I have to stop my sharing first, actually. There we go.
Okay. Start and we can see.
I've got a 20-minute video with the full presentation if you want that, but maybe this is enough.
We just need this part.
Okay.
So what we showed in Tehran was that we can produce atomic hydrogen and convert it into gas and burn it. But the beauty of it is that this never been done. And this can be like what we saw in the generator, everlasting supply of gas. We don't need the mines to gas it out. We produce it as we need it in a simple way, in a simple technology. And the hydrogen, you buy it for all sorts of welding and other purposes. It's not a common use. So the Russian boycott does not affect us except in construction and some other research facilities or other things we use with what we call the production. In this process, we come to understanding of the totality. Can you show the gas, the hydrogen in Tehran? If you can take sharing from here, Klaus. Rick is trying to do it from his end. Can you go to the beginning of it? This was done in Tehran, very rapid, to show that we can produce gases, and it's a hydrogen, and it creates flame. That's the only way you can show it. And this is a breakthrough in science, which means now we don't need mines. We don't need any alternatives. There are other alternatives in the market that produce hydrogen, but it costs a lot. This is said to cost not much, but in a way, you don't need heating, you don't need anything else. It's a natural process. This changes the game from that point last week to this week. This week game is we are going directly for the government. Directly for you at home, if you understand what you're doing. And most of the gases we use for heating up or transportation is methane, because it does what it's supposed to do. In the process of even the gas coming from Russia, we allow this gas in open space as a liquid to convert into a gas, burn it. Mainly, we use methane in it, but they call it liquid gas. You buy it, but methane is the perfect way for it without a lot of other problems. And if we can produce methane at petrol stations, produce methane in these cylinders at home, because in the house you burn is a methane with some smells add to it because it's odorless. You can only detect it by certain systems which detects methane only. When somebody comes to the house or you go to check, they have a detector with them. And methane has never been produced. Because if we can produce and mass produce methane, you have changed the energy game. And today we show you. Keshe Foundation has achieved this progress. And you go to Qatar, you go to the fields of the Russian, Siberia, and the rest to get gases, you destroy the environment. You do a lot of damage. From today, this is your mind. This is the mine that can be in any house, can be in any petrol station, can be in any what we call generating rooms. We have tested the burning. It's too dangerous to burn because it has a backflow pressure. We have taken the pictures. What the cylinders you see is the conversion cylinders, where the gas comes from the methane gas production and then comes up in the tank. We show you with the latest methane system that detects methane only. We produce as much as we need, where we need. We do not need to keep huge tanks of liquid, dangerous. We keep water and we convert it. And in this process, today you buy a liter of liquid gas, which gives you so much per kilowatt hour energy, and you pay €1.30 or about per liter. This will cost you nothing. This will cost just maintenance of it, and you can produce as much as you like. Governments in Europe using this technology are free and become free from the control of the oil cartels, the gas cartels. This is what we told you last week. We start negotiating. We start showing it to the government because Industrialization of this will take very rapid process. Industrialization of this is immediate. And European nations do not need to carry gas pipes, do not need to worry about where they're going to reserve it. You keep the present gas tanks you have, we show you how to convert it. You become independent fuel generator. You become Qatar in your own country. You produce as much gas as you need. The drop in energy supply costs will revive the industry. It'll bring a new game in and will change a lot of things. In a way, what we say to you, as the old song says, goodbye, pain and suffering. We are done with. And your new gas, new methane supply, plus the hydrogen we gave, we can give you other gases, because once you understand the technology, you know what to do with it. I show you the parallel to it, the third gas, which is the CO2. The third pipe here is producing CO2. You see the bubbles, and it says we have 656, I don't know if you can see it, CO2 particles per million. We put this in a cage and show you how much CO2 we produce. At the moment, there is a big problem with CO2, global warming. Thank you very much for Dutch people who created this. But if you go to a farm, a greenhouse, they burn gases to create CO2 for growth of vegetation. If you want to make your fizzy drinks, you need the CO2. You want to make a fire extinguisher, you need the CO2 to be added to the water. The beauty with this CO2 is very much different. We explain later on. The methane gas, if we can produce it, that we don't need the resources anymore of the earth, and makes governments like German government in the next 2 years independent of the fuel supply, you have cracked it. Those of you who are German, call your televisions, call your people and tell them to watch. Those of you who are Austrians, tell them to watch. What we're going to show you, we can show you the burnout we had in the lab. That's why in the environment of here it's not safe to do. But we have brought a meter which shows you if we produce methane and how we produce methane. Does somebody wants to come and test this, please? We show you that we connect the international devices, detectors. Klaus is volunteering, he's coming to show you the production of methane gas, which is held in a small amount in this cylinder. You can see it. Do you have the microphone? Yes. Can you hear it? Do you have it? Yeah. Klaus, you can explain.
Yes,
You're
we're
not,
using here.
we can't hear you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Can you hear Klaus? No.
No.
Just they have to switch on the main terminal that his switch will come. We show you how we create what we call methane gas. And this will be a lifetime production. Means if you use gas at home for heating, or if you use diesel or mazout, you call it, you can easily replace it with a gas which you produce at home. These should be standardized by the governments in a very rapid way and will be in the house. In a very near future, when you buy a house, they tell you, do you have it or not? I'll give it to Klaus to explain to you.
Okay. You can hear me now.
Yeah. You got to go close.
Okay. In order to measure what we produce, we are using an instrument is
Come
called
close to the camera, they can see it.
RS.
And we can't quite hear the audio very good there.
Can you
Okay.
hear him now?
I can
Just
talk
a bit.
louder.
Bit louder.
Yeah, okay. So we are using this methane gas detector. called RSGD36. It's a standard device to detect methane in gases. And as soon as you see one of these bars in red, it detects methane. If there are more bars lighting up red, then there's a higher concentration. We are measuring here in the air, which means as soon as there appears even one bar, we produce methane. And I'm gonna place this detector now.
I have your microphone?
Yeah.
Yep. You got to zoom in to the detector.
See, we have 1, 2, we have even 3 bars.
Depends how much we request from the system gives. We are not requesting from it, it's just building. If you notice, the minute we release the gases, it was a bubble requesting from the system to do. Now constantly keeps it at 3. If we change the parameters in the back, we can go to 4 and 5. But this is safe enough for us to show you. We have achieved a mass continuous production of the methane in the system. So what you call the methane production, gas production to release Western Europe from this dilemma is over. Would you like to test it again, that it wasn't one-off?
Okay.
And you can see, because we emptied the tank to one level,
Okay.
we do it again. Give me the microphone, you can do.
You can see here, the bars went back to 0. There is no red bar because the sensor is away from the source.
I'll have the microphone. We can produce continuously megatons of this material by conversion without needing to liquefy the gas. Call on demand. If we put a burner on this, it'll go to 4 and 5, the way you saw in Tehran. Once you call a demand on it, that you can burn it, it pulls everything else out. We show you again in a few minutes that you see is a continuous production. Thank you very much, Klaus. You're going to see Klaus in a few seconds, a few minutes again, because we do the same thing now with the CO2. The beauty with this CO2 is that it'll be proven in the future. When you have a fire, you usually have CO2 in a small cylinder, releases into the water, and then trying to, in a way, put the fire out. And it doesn't matter if it's a life in it or not, there is no existence because you die with it, you suffocate with it because of the monoxide and everything else. With this technology, it's different. When you spray this, once the right combination understood and applied, if you're in a fire, you spray the water with this gas. If there's a life in it, it will survive. It does not kill. If there's a plant in it, it will survive. Just what is burned before, that'll be the limitation. When this is sprayed, the life exists. To you could be saying this is impossible, but go back on what you've done as Keshe Foundation. You see the bubbles of CO2 coming up from the system. And we can show again, as we shown before, at the moment, CO2 in this environment is what, 640? Now we have a sealed system and we open. CO2 is safe. Our team are much stronger than me. They have tightened it. Now We put this in. You can smell it. And we close the gap. And we leave it to build up. And we'll see that we are producing, now we've gone to about, can you come any closer? Can you bring your camera in, because it has to be in the confined environment of it? Can you see the digits? It's building up, 686, 696, 700, and it shows that we are producing carbon. Again, a standard tool you can buy, and builds up. This has a huge application. Forest fires. Applied with this, you don't need to throw water, and where the water touches, the gas spreads, covers the whole of forest. It's a different ballgame again in science and technology. You're releasing gases on a constant basis that when you have a house on fire, the fire brigade just sprays a small amount, the gases will take over. But the life doesn't die because of the CO2 blockage. And you know all why. You, as knowledge seekers, use this CO2 for connection for a neural system. You've been using it in different applications with the zinc and copper for corona and the rest. This is in a physical condition, CO2, but in a plasma condition, it's a lifesaver. And this is a game changer again. So we've shown hydrogen in Tehran. You've seen methane today. You've seen CO2. So it shows the Keshe Foundation technology through plasma technology has opened up a new dimension in the world of science and technology. Independence from the resources. On demand when you need. And you can buy these today through Keshe Foundation. And we try to deliver, especially the methane, within the next couple of months, as much as we can produce to meet the demand of the European need and the shortages by Russia, and cutting your prices, your fuel cost, converting your car from the diesel to a gas, which costs you nothing. In a way, once you buy one system, you can connect it one line to the central heating, one line to fill up the gas for the car. And if you are understand the next stages of combining this with this, you have a permanent power generator. We just put a micro generator at the end of the gas as a flow, not as a burner, and we can continuously power the plasma and push the power of the system to 4, 6, or 10 kilowatts. So you see the change in the game of the energy, and this is delivered to the governments as of today. We'll announce in the next few days something again revolutionary with the Keshe Foundation. And what is interesting, if you look at that system, we hear the blips, but we don't see the lights to be out. But now you see the blip on this one. If you come closer, right into it, you see it's gone on red. Too much CO2 in the system. Now, if you can read it, it's past 1,000 particles per million, which is dangerous. And you see in the process, trying to maintain. And we have shown the system in production. The system now we stop the system, and you'll see how the CO2 was produced and holds. And you see it now it's not receiving anymore, contained. I take the lid off and bring the system out into the atmospheric condition. The bleep stops. Those bubbles you see in the container is the CO2, and the same bubble in the other container is methane. And scientific tools, equipments, standard tools supplied by authorities and the governments and laboratories, which has been approved, is showing the validity of the knowledge. So we can produce any gases. Now we have the knowledge. If you remember, all goes back to this machine. It's in the background. Material enhancement unit. If you can zoom on this one, you can see it. As it says on the side of it, material enhancement unit, which means we enhance the production of the material. The size of it in a matter state to make gold, zinc, aluminum, whatever you like, is in a way what we call gas enhancement unit, which means we're converting the fields into material. Proof of the concept of conversion, that we can convert energies into matter the way our Earth atmospheric condition does. And you see the two systems. What we told you years ago, we built the system 2 years ago. Now you see it for the gas production. Hydrogen and helium. I go back to something which is very important regarding the hydrogen. At the moment, the hydrogen, as we said before, is used for different usages for 3 or 4 advanced nations for as weapon, hydrogen bombs, which is supposed to be a lot of control on it by United Nations. It needs a small knowledge to change the hydrogen atomic, the way we showed you, we spoke about the CO2, will be used on the human body, to monoatomic hydrogen as a plasma. And the way the CO2 become plasmatic, used for the same, not the hydrogen bomb, but the hydrogen plasma explosion, which used, for example, on certain areas in the space by mixing hydrogen with the environment, create condition of water and life. Americans used the hydrogen for a bomb to kill. Iranian scientists used the hydrogen, which can be used for a bomb, to create life, to sustain life. The same thing happens with the methane. If the governments understand, and the Keshe Foundation will release this technology, in the areas of massive fire, massive droughts, the explosion of what we call methane gas as an explosive, or the hydrogen, will create rain in a massive scale and is natural. It's not like when in the past they used aluminum dust to create rainfalls in the dry places and then create all sorts of mayhem psychologically. This process creates natural water, which with it carries energies which can revive life, bring back vegetation. If you don't know, go back to your favorite Wikipedia. When you burn methane, you produce CO2 plus water. It's a natural process of the conversion of methane. The same thing happens with hydrogen. When you explode hydrogen in a plasma condition, you create water. Now you understand, in the future businesses of the production of the energy through the plasma like this, we can give you water free, clean water without contamination. The reason I said you will add this to that, you thought, oh, he's using electric turbine. My dear, I'm giving you water free. This is your water resources. Clean water, untouched. Nothing can be found in it. I remember in 1990s when the Eastern Bloc opened up, and I used to have an office in Almaty in Kazakhstan. By the order of the government, I was taken to a very remote part of Kazakhstan. We arrived there 12 o'clock at night, and they said we drilled 10,000 meter drills here to get to oil and gas, and we found this water is pure. What can we do with it? And it stays at 95 degrees constant. I got those times Coca-Cola bottles we had in the car with us, and we filled it up. We brought it to Europe. I took it to the laboratories in England, and they said, this is so pure, there is nothing in it. It has not been touched for millions of years. Where did you get it from? This is the water which these systems will give you. If the way you add smell to methane, that you know your cooker is on and you left the gas on, we add specific materials to methane that at the time of explosion release life. You don't need to water the farms to grow materials to buy fertilizer. A small amount of methane gas mixed with hydrogen, mixed with what is needed for wheat, for corn, you water. You can make one small explosion, literally with a little bit of noise, every 2 days over the farm in the middle of the desert of Arizona. You don't need to do what the American did, tap into the base water in Texas and drain it, what was there for millions of years. And now Texas is back to drought with nothing in it because the water is finished. The American government, give me a chance, I'll bring back the desert of Texas to be as green as the jungles of Africa, with one small adjustment in what you use as a hydrogen bomb to kill. As Iranian scientists, we put life into it to bring life back to you. And this is the change of the game. And we don't need to say it because, my dear friends, you use this technology in a very simple way for past 4 or 5 years, and you have done this yourselves, not me. It's been done right across the planet, and we know up to now you had to water the farm and add gases to it. The farmers get fed up just to have a growth in harvest. Now you can do it in a more different way and increase your harvest. Reports from China, growing, increasing the harvest. Reports from many of you for how your vegetation and vegetables and other things have grown so much has been on the internet long enough. What you did with watering your gases, now we do with CO2 absorbed, hydrogen absorbed, added to methane and hydrogen explosive food plasma technology. And many of you, we know what has brought to all of us. You can see on the screen the difference between the two. You can see on the screen from the data, you knowledge seekers, these are pictures from you, how it'll change things. How nations' food supply will not depend on the season. You can see the size of the one on the bottom and the one on the top using this technology. So as we've done with the Space Plasma Flight Unit, amalgamating all the knowledge together for that purpose, now we amalgamate all the knowledge with this technology for nations. No need for Russia to boycott the gas into Europe, that the farmers in Holland don't have gases to grow vegetation and beautiful flowers of Holland for all of us to enjoy around the world. The same will be for African nations. The same will be for the South Americans. The same will be for Australians and the rest. With this technology, we make Earth a heaven to live in, where we don't destroy anymore, where whatever we do is for elevation of the beauty of the planet. And you're part of it. When you buy the gas unit in the house, when you burn, the things added to it which does not affect the burning will bring joy. Transfer the energy into the food, transfer the energy into the house. Now you're scared of leaving the gas on open. Now you leave the gas open because it carries elements of the natural basis that it becomes food, it becomes joy. Methane in this process has the same process as what you used in CO2. But it has to be done in the correct way. And then we understand the whole process of life changes. And we are here to bring that change. The knowledge and technology is for that change. Those of you who would like to still go to the fuel station and blame the wife for not buying the gas cylinder, you're quite welcome to it. And those of you who will sit in the cold of winter on the blanket because you cannot afford it, it's your decision. In a way, as they say, the choice is yours. Choose this and suffer with the shortage of gases in Europe. Choose this and bring prosperity and life back to Europe and the rest of the world. This is why we call it evolution in science, evolution in energy, evolution in understanding in a way no nation can be taken to ransom by another for God-given rights of food, energy, and light. This is where the Keshe Foundation stands, and is the responsibility of you knowledge seekers to show this to your governments. Call your newspapers, call your television companies. They can come here and test. They can come here and breathe it. They can come and see, eat it, drink it, whatever they want to do with it. Something which you have not realized, or go back on the last week, last Thursday, when we showed the system, is a hidden knowledge. Go back to last week and you see how frequent the lights were coming and going. And this week, there's not that much of it. As I said before, it's like I stand here, the sun, the light, the love of Creator shines on all equal. How we use it depends on us, and how we share it depends on us. And the same light as you see on that system is here. To you, the reason these lights are not coming on and off as often as last week is there. To a scientific understanding, all these are creation of plasma. Now I have like a star formation. These systems are feeding that system. These gas producing systems, which are here in front of you, are feeding, sharing energy. In a way, they are backing the battery up. I don't let you go down because you're low, we give you. This is what I told you in a coming time when you buy, when you have one of these installed in your house. Would you like to have food, wellness, and water system in the house, another place? You don't need water in the living room, but you install a system that the water is created in your bathroom. You don't need no pipeline. This is the beauty of understanding where this technology will take us. The whole thing is not a game. Those who went out to destroy the Keshe Foundation destroyed themselves. We have delivered the flight enhancement unit. 100 of you came here to go through it. 10 or 15 of you went through it yesterday with Rick in Canada, God knows other part of the world together simultaneously. Now you have the energy system, the gas system, and then you understand the change in the game of living on this planet. Is not anymore Russian gas, is not anymore, God knows, shortage of food. It's the point that now I have all this given to me, I have it at my fingertip. How can I use my time to serve the others, to bring joy and happiness and life to the others? Many of you come here and say, my wish is to bring joy to humanity. Now you have the system to bring it. We structure these to be fast delivery system. You want to see, I'll bring it to you back. Your CO2 is back again at, you want me to stop here? Do you want to change camera? 648. I give this system to the farmer, tomato grower in Holland, saves him millions of dollars a day or a year, because he pays for this to be burned in a greenhouse to create a tomato, which has a life of maybe 2 weeks in the farm, in the shops. And with this, he creates a tomato, which is joy to eat, and it lasts 6 to 10 weeks in the shops. It's a change in the economy, a change in life. Klaus is very happy to come back to show something to us. Would you like to measure again your methane gas? So we see why we call it change in energy, change in what we call plasma technology. We measure this, and what we've done, very simply to you, is Keshe Foundation this time is not in the game just to sell a unit. You buy a unit, you contribute for next 10 years, 20 years to the foundation in a small amount that we can keep on expanding and developing and creating life for the others who are not fortunate to have. So on the gas units, on the generator units, we have put a minimum of 100 euro per year. You pay just to subscribe to use these systems. And if you feel more generous, you can make 250 or 100 or 1,000, doesn't matter, every year for the what saving you make and what your change bring. So these units are for sale today. We're selling it as a household plasma unit, and we try to get this as fast as possible into the market that we beat the Russian boycott. And then we contact your bankers and your governments and tell them we don't need to suffer. There we are, methane gas line opened up. You see, it goes down. It was just like the generation of the power. It stays constant supply. If we burn it, it goes up to the third and up. If we don't use it, nature only supplies what is needed. And you can see how clearly it is. And the beauty of it is, in the back, the energy system bleeps into vacuum power. Now, the energy and power is the hand of the individuals, not governments. It's you who decide how much gas I'm going to have, how much electricity I'm going to have, and goes back to all of you, because being here for past 4 or 5 weeks, thank you very much, Klaus, your system works. When we gave the patents to the governments in 2012, you all called me betrayer. You betrayed us. You brought the technology. You gave it to the government again. We gave it to you from 2015-16. You still couldn't do anything with it. Now we show you what is done and what can be done. And the process is very simple. You've seen, we showed you that. Again, I'll show you this, 647. I'll give you a little bit of gas. Oop, it just was too much. You had the bubbles in it. And then we see it again. We build up, we wait for it to shout at us and tell us what it's got to. And you see it, 654, 656. We're building up the CO2 production, but the natural CO2. And the system will carry on the same way. Now we allow the flow in it. And you see the gas production increases. And $671, $669. It goes to 1,000, and you get the alarm going off again. So the game is in energy and gas supply for the Russian government to boycott is finished. But the beauty of this is when we see these gas generators released, used by the government, is not just for this year. These systems will stay for nations, for the life of the nation. It's not a nuclear reactor that you spend 30 billion to build it, and then you spend 200 billion to clean it up over 50, 60 years and holding nuclear material. You spend 30 billion developing, completing these systems. Your nation does not need nuclear power stations. Your nation does not need to suffer from shortage of electricity anywhere in the world. It's a natural product and has no waste to store it somewhere and is on demand. You need the gas, you've seen it, creates it. We saw it in Tehran, the minute they stopped burning, how fast it came. We saw here a rapid bubble expansion. So this is the evolution in science and technology, and how we go about it and how we increase it and how we add to it. Mainly depends on Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers and the structure we set around this program. We go for a break and we come back and try to answer some sensible questions. Thank you very much, Rick, if you want to take us for a break.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kesh. And we'll go for a short break here with some commercial messages and be back in a few minutes.
You see beautiful pictures from Keshe Foundation Space Center in Linz. Above us is a UFO, and inside us is a spaceship with all the materials in a UFO. So what you were dreamt to have to fly in is above you, and what you dreamt, what you call aliens have, is in the hand of the man. Would like to go for a break?
Yes, thank you.